can you explain 1 Corinthians 12:11?
Read it to me.
All these are the work of the one of, so
Yeah.
just gone through all the different gifts, right? All these are the work of one and the same Spirit, and he distributes them to each one just as he determines.
Yeah, and then he goes down a list.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so the way that that's presented is not everyone gets the same gifts.
Right.
And that you're going to receive specific gifts for what God's called you to do.
Right.
Challenge with that, though,
Yes.
is keep reading. Chapter 13, chapter 14. And it's very clear, also within that context, that Paul says, I want all of you to pray in tongues. And he says, and all of you should prophesy. So you have that. So you've got these. It is true that the Holy Spirit gives specific gifts to specific people. 100% true. And it's also true that Paul encourages everyone to prophesy and speak in tongues. Okay. And those are the two that he highlights. But then later on in the book of James, it's like, if anyone is sick, let them come down and let the elders of the church pray for them and lay hands on them that they might be healed, right? So, well, the gift of healing is one of the gifts that Paul lists in that list. But then we're told everyone should pray for other people to be healed. And so the way I would kind of distinguish all of that is that there is a gift of like the office of a prophet, right? Because Paul in another place talks about the fivefold ministry that, pastor, evangelist, teacher, prophet. Which one did I miss? Apostle. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yay.
It just shows you're not
I'm just thinking about other people
That's
so
right,
much.
right.
Oh my gosh. So there's like an office of the prophet, and that not everyone is that. Like that's one of the fivefold. And there is very much the gift of the Holy Spirit that causes you to be able to prophesy. Obviously, you can't prophesy without that gift. And then yet we're told that everyone actually can do it. So there's a distinguishing between I hold the office of this, and this is like my primary gifting, versus like I can do that. Like I can pray for you and I can give you a prophetic word. Like I'm an apostle, I believe, in the fivefold ministry. There's probably a little bit of pastor in there, but I think probably mostly apostle. But when I pray for you, I can prophesy to you. But my number one office and calling in life is not to be a prophet. It's to build the church, because I'm an apostle, right? But I can prophesy, and I can speak in tongues. Like I can pray in tongues. And so I would just say, if Paul says everyone can do it, I would just ask for it.
It reminds me, I'm watching a lot of Ratatouille with Ruby.
Love that.
Right now. And the whole
That
thing
hasn't
is
been
like,
our list at home yet.
is the ghost chef always says he's like, everyone can cook, and that's not received well, because it's like, oh, not everybody can cook. Like, so the real question then is like, so you're saying that everybody has the ability to access and everybody can speak in tongues?
I think that Paul encourages everyone to do it. I think that's what it says. Let me tell you what's not going to help you access the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Condemnation and shame. Like condemnation and shame is making it all about you. And this is where I think we, in the charismatic world, Pentecostal world, and in the non-charismatic world, miss the Holy Spirit, is that we make it about us. And the reason why we do that is because we make everything about us. We make theology about us. We make the gospel about us. We make everything about us. And we make church about us. And so, of course, we make the Holy Spirit about us. And so we take this weird thinking about, I need to do X, Y, and Z in order for God to give me X, Y, and Z. And so I need to do all of this stuff in order for me to have the gift of tongues. And if I don't have the gift of tongues, what's wrong with me? I'm not elite, or I'm not mature, or God's disappointed in me. It's like, you have made the gifts of the Holy Spirit about you.
Yeah.
The whole point of the gifts of the Holy Spirit is that this is stuff that you can't do. Like you can't, it's the whole point. You can't come up with a prophetic word for someone. You're not a freaking fortune teller. So like you can't, like Taylor, you can't do that, right? Like I can't speak in tongues. Like I can make up gibberish that makes it sound like I'm speaking in tongues, but I can't pray through the Holy Spirit, like in manifest supernatural realities through an unknown language. I can't do that. And so don't make it about you. And what I've learned is that the people who operate in the most power are the people who've learned the best how to get out of the way and not make it about them. It's not about me.
That's so good.
What do you want to do? What do you want to say? What do you want to do? Like, how do you want to move today? I'm just going to do that. So you just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But I'm not manufacturing something. I'm not forcing something. I'm not manipulating something. And I am definitely not judging my status as a beloved son of God based on whether or not I delivered a correct prophetic word. Because my status as a beloved son of God has nothing to do with my performance. And so that's where the Holy Spirit gets really complicated, is because we judge ourselves.
That's where it's always been the most complicated for me.
Yeah.
Like personally,
Yeah.
right? Of where I know for a fact, I've spoken in tongues twice.
Come on.
It just came.
Yeah.
It was in specific experiences where it just happened.
Yeah.
And I have prayed lots of times to just be able to pray in tongues.
Yeah.
But I feel like doing that, it always feels manufactured.
Yeah.
Always. But
yeah.
I think that might be relevant to what you're saying of I'm trying to do it.
You're trying to do it and you can't. Right. So there's the balance between you can't do it, it's got to be him. And also put some action to your faith, right? And there's a balance there. But I think that theologically, we can't be thinking that this is something that we do, because it is not. So then I want to be in a posture of submission and say, God, whatever you want to do, do it. And I will obey. You want me to open my mouth right now? I'll open my mouth. Do you want me to prophesy? I will prophesy. You want me to lay hands on the sick? I will lay hands. Like, you tell me what to do and I'll obey. But I am not worried about whether or not I'm going to screw it up.